Welcome everyone, Corey Allen here of the Overton Report. Just wanted to touch base a little bit on what is happening in DC, what happened on the 6th, and what we're finding out as we go. One thing we found interesting is that over 25,000 National Guard troops are making their way to protect the Capitol and Washington, D.C. in the inauguration. So, if you haven't seen it, the Capitol, the whole city, it looks like a third world country in the midst of some kind of revolution. Now we're being told that the National Guard is being looked into by the FBI because they fear that some of them might try to assassinate Joe Biden, the man who got the most votes of any president in history ever. Now we've seen a few people who just seem to be anarchists that have been arrested in connection with what happened on the 6th.
Now we did it! You were right, we did it!
Dude, I was trying to tell you. I couldn't say much.
You were right!
You just have to watch my chat. Is this not going to be the best film you've ever made in your life?
That's it.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah?
Hell yeah.
Wait, you weren't recording, were you?
Just came across something yesterday we'd like to talk about. Boogaloo Boy. Now, if you're not familiar with the Boogaloo Boys, they are a group of, I don't want to call them extremists, but they are looking forward to and do everything they can to further an agenda of revolution or violence. They're anarchists. Over the summer and into the fall, they could be found with BLM protesters and Antifa groups carrying weapons, walking through, agitating. And it turns out that a leader of the Boogaloo Boys in Virginia, who himself completely aligns with Black Lives Matter, the organization, was bragging about organizing the events on January 6th, the insurrection part. So they keep calling it an armed insurrection. The only people that I have still seen armed are the Capitol Police. So we're still trying to find out about that. But according to the Gateway Pundit, contrary to allegations leveled by the political left and their allies in the mainstream media, anti-Trump groups primarily perpetrated insurrection on the U.S. Capitol on January 6. They obtained archived tweets from a man named Mike Dunn, who's a leader of the Boogaloo Boys. They are, make no mistake, an anti-Trump group. And like I said, they're all about revolution. Here is what his tweet said. BB teams, Boogaloo Boy teams, have been activated in Virginia, and we currently have 4 fire teams inside the Capitol and 7 more outside. Sic semper tyrannis. Now, he was asked by somebody in that tweet thread, what's the purpose of the tactical teams? Is it to secure the Capitol from potential Trump supporters who want to occupy it with force? And here's what Mike Dunn, Virginia leader of Boogaloo Boys team, said. It's to revel in the breach of security while mocking the defenses that protect tyrants, whether that be Trump or others. On Parler, Mike Dunn has, or had, because we all know that Parler has been shut down. Now remember, he was fomenting all this on Twitter, all this violence and calls of insurrection on Twitter. They're still up last time I checked. Parler, however, he had a page called The Last Sons of Liberty. And here's their official statement the day after. Boogaloo Boys associated with the Last Sons of Liberty played an important part in the breach of the Capitol. Any moment to be used to throw a middle finger to tyranny should be capitalized on. Yesterday, when presented with that moment, undercover boys went to work to hype up the people. Working alongside of others, the Last Sons of Liberty was not being solely responsible for the events that took place. A breach was made into the building, which is rightfully ours to walk in as we please, because our taxes paid for it. The video posted, which he posted, is piece from several of our boys who provided overwatch along with direction. This video does not incriminate any one of ours and was sent to us anonymously by Last Sons Boogaloo Boys. This is our footage, Mike Dunn. When Ashley Babbitt was shot, Mike Dunn, he retweeted something from the Tree of Liberty. It said, an officer shot an unarmed woman in the neck during a breach. The Fed drew first blood. And Mike Dunn retweeted that and commented, we won't bend. Fair game now. Feds drew first blood years ago. So this is really strange. Now what's extremely interesting about this is that he did this interview on January 8th where he admitted that 3 or 4 groups of loyalists under his command stormed the Capitol and embraced the moment to strike against the government. When asked in that Reuters interview whether Boogaloo Boys had planned the attack on the Capitol, he was just very cryptic, and he said, just know there's more to come. Here's yet another example of an anarchist group organized, planning, infiltrating, and doing whatever they can to make people who were there to peacefully protest look bad. And we've all seen how successful groups like Mr. Mike Dunn of the Boogaloo Boys were. Because look around. The president's been censored. 70,000 accounts from Twitter have been purged. Parler has been entirely shut down. Facebook, we've got hundreds of thousands of people that can't even comment on pages or events or groups or anything. They're not being told that they did anything wrong. They're just being told that their accounts are restricted until after the inauguration. An inauguration, again, let me remind you, of a president that's supposed to have received more votes than any presidential candidate in history. The most popular president, apparently. We're really wondering what's going on. As we continue to be censored, we don't really know what to make of it. These people, these groups, don't care who's in power. They're anarchists. They want to foment hate and division. And these big tech companies and these media companies are falling right into the trap, right into their hands.
Now we're talking about domestic audience in the United States. And the challenge is going to be partially that, ISIS did not have a domestic constituency in the United States Congress. But there is over half of the Republicans in Congress voted to overturn the election. And second, we have to turn down the capability of these conservative influencers to reach these huge audiences. There are people on YouTube, for example, that have a larger audience than daytime CNN. And then we're going to have to figure out the OANN and Newsmax problem. That these companies have freedom of speech, but I'm not sure we need Verizon, AT&T, Comcast, and such to be bringing them into tens of millions of homes. This is allowing people to seek out information if they really want to, but not pushing it into their faces, I think is where we're going to have to go here.
It's a scary time. Stay peaceful, stay vigilant, stay safe.